Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now today here I have here a very exciting device, and I haven't really been excited by a new phone recently, but this one is actually quite cool, and that came in the form of the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro. Now if you recall the last Mate series, by the way, the Mate series for Huawei has always been their flagship, and the last Mate flagship was actually launched in 2020, which is almost 2 years ago, and that was the Mate 40. So we haven't had a Mate flagship for 2 years now, and finally Huawei is back with their latest flagship. Very cool stuff there. Now we're going to jump into today's video right away by checking out its design and a couple of cool features that I think you guys might want to know, because it's definitely very different from what we are seeing in most smartphones today. Again, this is going to be a first impressions kind of video, so don't expect a full review here. That will come in a couple of, maybe 1 more month from today. With that said, let's first check out the design of the Mate 50 Pro, and here we go guys. This is the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro. There is a couple of different colors, but mine is the one here and it's called black. There is also a silver, and there is one more in orange with a vegan leather back panel. So mine here is the one in black. I think it looks quite cool. It has this very reflective back panel that looks like a mirror, and right in the middle you'll see that we have a couple of sensors at the back, which we will talk about very soon, because that's where the cool stuff is lying at. Alright, so again, just in terms of the design, it feels very premium. Again, this is a flagship device from Huawei. It also comes with IP68, so you can put it into the water and take a couple of underwater shots. It comes with stereo speakers. The stereo speakers sounds awesome as well. Very good speakers from Huawei. And one more thing that always doesn't get mentioned very often is the haptic engine. So we do have that X-axis haptics in this device, and it actually feels very nice to type on, and all those vibrations just feels awesome. So that's just a very quick one in terms of the design. Again, this is how the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro looks like. Let me know what you think, if this is something that you like. Let me know down in the comment section below. Alright, so of course the main star of the show here is definitely in terms of the cameras at the back. So let me just share with you a couple of numbers first, because you guys always want to hear that. So the first thing that we do have at the back here is a 50 megapixel main sensor. Apart from that, we have a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and last but not least, we do have a 64 megapixel telephoto lens that does 3.5 times optical zoom, and I think digital zoom all the way up to 100 times or 200 times. We'll check that out in a bit. But essentially, those are the 3 sensors that we have. The main sensor and the telephoto does come with OIS, but the most cool part here, guys, is with that main sensor, because it does come with a adjustable aperture size. So what this means is basically you can adjust the size of the aperture of that main sensor from 10 stages. Now, if you are a photographer, this might mean a lot to you, because what it does is it's able to adjust the amount of bokeh in the background. But if you're just a normal user like most people out there, essentially, again, guys, is to create a nicer, more natural bokeh effect, because this is done mechanically and not digitally. Right, so I'm going to show you guys a couple of samples here. This is the first shot that you can take a look at that basically shows the difference between a 1.4 and a 2.8. Again, you can see that for the 1.4, you have a much nicer, softer background blur compared to the 2.8 and the 4 here, which has a very clear background. Again, this is not something that you will be using all the time. You can find the adjustments to the aperture in the Pro settings in the camera itself, but most of the times I think you will actually be using the camera in its stock default mode. So that's quite interesting there. But anyways, with this mechanically adjustable, aperture size, I think it definitely brings something new to the camera game, because photographers or really professional photographers can make use of this adjustable aperture and get some really nice shots, guys. So with that said, that's something new about the camera game. Now the second thing that is new to the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro here is in terms of their XMAGE system. Now you might recall in the previous Mate series, Huawei partnered with Leica to have all those kind of, special stylized effects. Well, this time around, Huawei is doing their own kind of effects here. So the first one here is the original filter, and that basically means that whatever you capture is what you see. The second one is called Vivid. That means it's slightly more saturated. Some people like pictures that look a little bit boosted in terms of their color, so that's where you get Vivid. And the final one is Bright, which means that it's just like saturation plus a little bit more brightness. Overall, for me personally, I like original, because me personally, I feel that the original is a little bit saturated already. So if I go to vivid, or if I go to bright, it just boosts the picture too much. So original is the one for me, but again, here you have that XMAGE kind of choices for you guys to choose from. Again, depending on your personal preference, you can get those kind of filters built into the camera already. Right, so now let's take a look at a couple of more sample photos that I've taken with this new camera system. We're going to take a look at the ones that were taken with the main sensor. With this large aperture as well as large sensor, this really helps me take really good photos, not just in the day, but also at night. So I'm going to start off first with the night shots. Night shots taken on the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro look very clean. There is minimal noise, there is very good kind of brightening effects. There is no like over sharpening and all that happening in the picture itself. Again, this is just a first impression, so these are a couple of photos that you can expect to take or see if you're using the night mode feature. Apart from that, taking a couple of daytime shots as well, or maybe pictures of food, which I think a lot of people take. I think the food shots here turns out amazing, guys. The colors look very close to real life. Apart from that, we also have this very nice soft blur background in the back, and I think that's awesome. It just gives the picture a little bit more quality in terms of how it looks like. It looks like it was taken by a camera, so I love that about that large aperture. But yeah, these are a couple of shots that you can expect to take of food and objects. Last but not least, just in terms of normal daytime shots, I think again, it comes in very clean, minimal noise, good dynamic range and all that. But yeah, this is just a first look at the images of what you can expect with the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro. I'll definitely be taking more shots here and sharing them with you guys. With that said, let's move on to the next cool thing about this device, and that is actually in the front. Now let me just unlock my device first. There is an in-display fingerprint scanner, by the way, and this is a very nice display that we get here as well. It's a slightly curved display on its sides, and we notice that we do have two cameras at the front. You have the ultra wide, which basically fits in a very wide angle, so that is why we do have this really big notch down in the middle. But yeah, that's fine. Apart from that, in terms of the display, it's 120 Hz, it's AMOLED display, so again, colors, the brightness levels, everything is excellent here, and what you might expect of a flagship device today. So awesome display here on the Mate 50 Pro. In terms of battery life, I know some people are also concerned about battery life. Now we do have a 4700 mAh battery in here, which supports 66 watt fast charge. It's again very, very slim, so having a 4700 mAh battery in here is definitely great. And last but not least, just in terms of the performance, well, we do have the latest Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 in here, so everything should be running pretty smoothly. Again, this is one of the best processors, so you won't have any issues with games and all that. Now the final point is, some people might wonder if it supports 5G. Well, unfortunately, it's still on 4G, and I don't think that is a major problem. Again, here in Malaysia, we don't even have 5G yet, and 4G itself is again quite spotty, but this is really down to your personal preference. If you need something that must have 5G, you got to check out elsewhere. But if not, I personally think that the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro here is still an excellent choice. With that said, yep guys, that is pretty much my first impressions with the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro. Again, this device here is all about pushing the boundaries in terms of its cameras. It's good to see that innovative and manually adjustable aperture at the back here. Very cool stuff. Apart from that, it's also great to see the new XMAGE system on the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro. I believe that moving forward, this XMAGE will appear on more HUAWEI flagships, so stay tuned to that. And yeah, just very happy to see that we have a Mate flagship back in 2022. With that said, if you guys have any further questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know what else you guys want me to test out on the HUAWEI Mate 50 Pro. And again, thank you for watching all the way till the end. Don't forget to drop a like, sub to the channel if you're feeling happy, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.